Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Where we completed was, or where we stopped was that interesting shloka which says that that particular um, let us say that particular virus or that particular disease cause, which when it causes the disease, you can't use the same cause to treat it unless it is done in a different way. So the two slokas, one before it and after it, are important to just go through. And because we left it just in the middle, I think I'll just go back a sloka and repeat it. एतत् संसूचितं ब्रह्मन् तापत्रय चिकित्सितं यदीश्वरे भगवती कर्म ब्रह्मणि भावितम् एतत् संसूचितं ब्रह्मन् तापत्रय चिकित्सितं यदीश्वरे भगवती कर्म ब्रह्मणि भावितम्. There is going to be an interesting mention of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga here, and ultimately establishing that whether it is Karma or Jnana, they would still be seen as concomitant factors of Bhakti Yoga. So, Bhakti is ultimate, whereas these are kind of supportive. In that way, Bhagavatam actually places Bhakti Yoga to be the most important. So here therefore, etat samsuchitam, he Brahman, O Vyasa, tapatraya chikitsitam. So tapatraya we have mentioned previously, they are Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika and Adi Daivika. So there are diseases and there are sufferings in this material world one has to go through. The material world, the samsara itself, is known to be a place of suffering. So dukkha. So dukkha is actually not only about sorrow, dukkha is also anything which is going to lead to a lot of attachment, and initially it may be quite pleasing and pleasurable, but later on the same thing, the longer it stays, it basically, that same attachment will turn sour. So whatever said and done, there are three types of those afflictions. And briefly once again, Adi Dhaivikam, Adi Bhautikam, Adhyatikam. In the sense, there are unmanifest causes, there are manifest causes as well. For instance, earthquakes and those kind of things, those are kind of beyond human control. So those are some types of afflictions, whereas health problems or material losses and so on and so forth, they are human level problems. All these are put together, tapatraya. And chikitsitam, that which is a treatment of these three. What is it that can be the remedy? Yat Ishvare Bhagavati, in that divine Almighty, Brahmani, karma bhavitam. So that whatever duties that we do, whatever actions that we undertake, they should be submitted or done as if they are being done to the Brahman himself. So that's the first mention of what we're going to see now. So what do we understand there? So let us say we perform karma actions in a certain way, which is that we are doing those actions for our own sake. The mind basically is anxious or keen that the results should be enjoyed by me. So therefore, the onus is on me. I'm the one who is thinking that I'm the cause of that action. I enjoy the fruits of the actions and so on. But that is the one which is going to lead to the tapatrayam. Instead, if I am actually going to do the duties in a way that they are submitted to the Bhagavan, Brahman, then those are going to be the same actions are being done. It's no different. It's the same actions, but they are being done in a different way and have become the cure. Earlier they were the cause, the same actions were the cause. Now they have become the cure. So that is now very important for us to see the next shloka where we stopped last time. आमेयो यश्च भूतानां जायते येन सुव्रत तदेव ह्यामयं द्रव्यं न पुनाति चिकित्सितम् आमयः यश्च भूतानां जायते येन सुव्रत तत् एव हि आमयं द्रव्यं न पुनाति चिकित्सितम्. So आमयः is the disease, यः च यः आमयः, that disease, Bhutanam, of the living beings, Jayate, arises, Yena, by which, Hey Subrata, oh the Vyasa basically. Tat eva, that same cause, whatever was the cause by which the disease arose, Tat eva hi amayam dravyam, that in itself, if it becomes the remedy, the medication, na punati chikitsitam, that is not going to treat the illness. In the caveat is in the same form. So in the same form, it is not going to treat. How do we know that it is inferred? Because of the earlier shloka, because where it established that the same karma, if done differently, instead of being the cause, can now be the remedy. Similarly, here the same cause, amayam, which has led to that particular disease, if only it is altered, then it can be the treatment. So this is where some actually extrapolate this to the very original kind of reference to the concept of vaccination, where let us say a virus causes the disease, and let's say the measles. Measles is the name of the virus. Measles is the name of the disease. Measles is the name of the vaccine. So the same virus is basically diluted hundreds and thousands of times, and then it becomes ineffective in terms of causing a disease, but its protein is sufficient to cause immunity. So it's a wonderful example, relation to what we are seeing here. एवं ऋणां क्रिया योगाः सर्वे संसृति हेतवः त एवात्मविनाशाय कल्पन्ते कल्पिताः परे. एवं ऋणां क्रिया योगाः सर्वे संसृति हेतवः ते एव आत्मविनाशाय कल्पन्ते कल्पिताः परे. Evam, in this way, nrunam, of the people, kriya yogaha, those kind of all those duties done. Sarve, all those, samsriti hetavaha, are actually the cause of the material bondages. Te, those, eva, atma vinashaya kalpante. Atma vina, te eva kalpitaha. So, those themselves now can become, what can they become? They themselves can kalpante, they will result in kalpante, they will result in vinasha, atma vinashaya. So that they themselves now, if they are submitted to pare, submitted to the Paramatma, Parabrahma, they can actually exterminate the same troubles that were causing the original problems. So this is how philosophically we need to keep this very much in mind. The very essence of Sanatana Dharma is that we should be able to understand that, especially from Bhagavad Gita, we know that actions have to be done. Inaction is not allowed. It is not sanctioned. Inaction is not allowed. Uh, Action has to be done. However, action can be sakarmaka and nishkama, let us say. So, sakama karma and nishkama karma. So, sakama karma would be that action done for our own kind of pleasure or satisfaction. That should be avoided. That should, as much as possible, be avoided. It should be nishkama karma. So the same karma, if done in a way we have submitted ourselves, is what is important. We have to keep that in mind and teach it to all as well, how action should be done as per Sanatana Dharma. Kurvana yatra karmani bhagavat shikshaya sakrit gृणन्ति गुणनामानि कृष्णस्यानुस्मरन्ति च कुर्वाणाः यत्र कर्माणि भगवत् शिक्षया असकृत् गृणन्ति गुणनामानि कृष्णस्य अनुस्मरन्ति च. So if you look at the kriya padam, the verbs gृणन्ति, anusmaranti. So it's in plural, grananti, anusmaranti. Who are grananti basically means to grasp, hold something. Anusmaranti, to remember always. So who are they who are going to remember and hold on to it? We don't have another subject here, but we have to take kurvanaha, those who are doing actions. Those who are doing these actions are going to take the name and also guna sankirtana, nama sankirtana, guna sankirtana of who? Krishnasya gunanamani grinanti. So what do? Those who are performing these actions, instead of actually doing in an atheistic way or a way where they are actually, their mind is fixated on personal glory and whatnot. So yatra karmani, where actions are being done by these doers, they would take the name and the gunas and remember constantly. Take the name and gunas of Krishna and remember constantly. And how is this even possible? Bhagavat shikshaya asakrit. Asakrit means constantly, constant. Shikshaya, shikshanam, through training. Who is training us? It is the Bhagavan who is actually training. By the training of Bhagavan, these particular doers of actions are actually performing actions. They are performing karma yoga. They simultaneously remembering. They are taking the name and gunas and remembering them, which basically means it is bhakti yoga. Needless to say, there is jnana as well here, because jnana basically is what should I be doing? Who is that Almighty? Who am I? What is my relation with the Brahman? That is the jnana. So is it sufficient if we just leave it there? Not so, says Bhagavatam. You have that jnanam. Now you are putting it into action, and when you are doing action, You are submitting your actions to the Parabrahman. Therefore, when you are doing it, I will teach you that there is another way you can have better results. That is by constantly kind of being in that state of mind where you take the name and the gunas of Krishna and constantly remember them. That is bhakti. So now it's the confluence of jnana, karma, and bhakti yoga. ओम नमो भगवते तुभ्यं वासुदेवाय धीमहि प्रद्युम्नाय अनिरुद्धाय नमः संकर्षणाय च. So it's an easy one for those learning Sanskrit, and it's just one sentence essentially. Om Tubhyam Namaha. Tubhyam Namaha. So that is one thing. Dhimahi. Who am I worshipping? Going down to Vasudevaya. To that Vasudeva, Pradyumnaya to that Pradyumna, Aniruddhaya to that Aniruddha, Sankarshanaya to that Sankarshana. Naturally, these are various forms of same Vishnu. Again, I won't be the expert in giving details of these things. We will allow you to do your own work later on to know the details. इति मूर्त्यभिधानेन मन्त्रमूर्तिम् अमूर्तिकं यजते यज्ञपुरुषं स सम्यक् दर्शनः पुमान्. इति मूर्त्यभिधानेन मन्त्रमूर्तिम् अमूर्तिकं यजते यज्ञपुरुषं सः सम्यक् दर्शनः पुमान्. So again we will see the verb here. The verb is yajate, kriyapadam. Yajate means doing yajna. Yajate. Who is worshipping? Puman, Purushaha, Saha, Samyak Darshanaha, Saha Samyak Darshanaha Puman, Yajna Purusham Yajate. So that is the sentence. That particular person who is the Samadrashta, Samyak Darshanam Karoti. So he is actually able to see through very clearly and he sees the sameness everywhere in everything. That particular person is performing yajna of the Yajna Purusha, Parabrahma. And who is he also? Amurtikam, the one who is unmanifest. Murti would be manifestation. Amurti is Amurtikaha here. So the one who is unmanifest, to him that particular person is performing the yajna. But now interestingly, not only was he unmanifest, he has also manifested. Mantramurtim. Mantramurtim. So not only was a man unmanifest, who is always in that state of unmanifest, but he also manifests whenever he chooses to create. So mantramurtikam, mantramurtim also to that person who is manifest. I am, or that person is doing a yajna. How? Murti abhidhanena. Through that very sound, that particular so how are we actually even talking? We're using that same manifest sound, and that same manifest sound is being used as an instrument to do this yajna or worship, the very same who has been manifested from the unmanifest. So I hope you have been able to follow what I'm trying to say. Essentially, he is all encompassing. There is no limitation. Sarvantarayami. So if there are traditions which only talk that God can only be an unmanifest and he doesn't manifest, that obviously is wrong, which is being clearly explained here. There is no limitation that him can remain unmanifest and simultaneously be manifest as well. There is no paradox there. Ivam swanigamam brahman avetyamadhanushtitam adan me jnanamaishwaryam swasmin bhavam cha keshavaha. Evam swanigamam brahman avetya mat anushtitam adat me jnanam aishwaryam swasmin bhavam cha Keshavaha. So we'll have to try and see what are those verbs again, the Kriya Padas. Adat. Adat is one, and that is where away. That's it. Adat. Um, Adat here actually has been given as bestowed upon me. So somebody has given it. Adat. Who is that who has given? Keshavaha. Keshavaha, Krishna, Vishnu, whoever you may call him. Keshavaha Adat. He was the one who bestowed upon. Keshavaha Mam Adat. He gave me. Keshava gave me, what did he give? Jnanam. He gave me Jnanam. Or we can also say Mahyam. Keshavaha Mahyam Jnanam Adat. What else? Uh, Aishwaryam, Swasmin Bhavam, Swasmin, in him, it should be in him, Swasmin, personal, okay, Swasmin, maybe Aishwaram Bhavam.
Anushtitam.
No, that is
Mat-
fine. I'm trying to look at the grammar here. Okay, I'll come to that a little later. So I'll go to the first sentence, the first line. Imam Swanigamam. Nigamam would be Veda. So Imam Swanigamam Avetya, having understood. So it is a Lepanta. So having understood the essence of Veda, Imam Swanigamam Avetya Mat Anushtitam, having been basically kind of sincerely kind of studied basically by me. Having done that, what happened? That's kind of the first step where I've done my swadhyaya. I've done the swadhyaya. Once that I am learned, naturally I've become a nice conduit then, because I have conditioned myself through this knowledge, through this swadhyaya. I've kind of made sure my mind and senses were nicely in a position to receive that knowledge. So Keshavaha then gave me the Jnanam. Aishwaryam, Jnanam, Swasmin, Bhavam. Okay, now I can see that. Okay. Swasmin is of Keshava. So Keshave you can say. So in him Bhavam was created. So once he has given that knowledge that you and I are the same, or the entire Atma Vidya, the entire cosmic knowledge, once that knowledge was given, then he also created immense amount of love and affection, bhavam, within him, in him, swasmin. So that is how the entire process took place, is what he is explaining, Narada. Tvamapyad, tvamapya, tvamapyadam, tvamapyadabhrashruta. Okay, sorry. Tvamapyadabhrutashrutam. Sorry. Tvamapyadabhrashrutam vibhoh. Samapyate yena vidam bubutsitam. Prakyahi dukkair muhurardhitatmanam. Sanklesha nirvanamushanti nanyatha. त्वम अपि अधभ्रश्रुतः विश्रुतं विभोः समाप्यते येन विदां बुभुत्सितं प्राक्याहि दुःखैः मुहुः अधितात्मन मुहुः अर्दितात्मनां संक्लेश निर्वाणम उशंति न अन्यथा. Tvam, you, api, also, adabhrashrutaha. It's been translated. I had to take what is given here. Adabhrashrutaha, the one who is learned in the Vedas. Tvam adabhrashrutaha vibhoha vishrutam. Vibhuhu would be the Lord. Vibhoho of the Lord, sixth case. Vishrutam. Also, you have basically you have heard Vishrutam. Um, um, Tvam adabhrashrutaha vibhoha vishrutam asti. Okay. So that is how it is. You are the learnt one in the Vedas. Now, what is the use of it now? Yena, with that knowledge, bubutsitam vidam samapyate. Vida would be the learned ones. Bubutsitam, satisfied. So the learned ones who are eager to be satisfied will be satisfied. Samapyate. So you have this knowledge, right? With this knowledge, now you will be in a position to satisfy those who are desiring the knowledge. Also, prakyahi, tvam prakyahi. Okay, actually we can add the prakyahi to the earlier anyway because tvam was given there. Tvam adabrashrutaha vibhoha vishrutam prakyahi. So that would be the sentence. You, the learned one in the Vedas, the Lord's the past, what do you call it? Pastimes, guna, nama, everything that should be heard. You should describe it. Prakyahi. What will happen as a result? Yena, by which the learned ones who want or desirous of the knowledge will be satisfied. Also, ardita atmanam, the ones who are also in distress, ardita, they are basically, as I said, in distress, and you need to do something for them. Dukkaihi muhuhu, by the various sorrows, that are afflicting them. To them also, sanklesha nirvanam. So, klesha is confusion, sanklesha nirvanam. So, nirvanam, that has to be removed. Those delusions in their mind have to be removed for all these unfortunate people on the earth who basically are completely affected by dukkha. Ushanti na anyatha. Now, these afflictions are not going to be removed by any other method apart from your efforts to sing the praise of the Lord or describe his pastimes and gunas and so on and so forth. And because you also have the wonderful knowledge of the Vedas, so you should be the one to do it. Essentially, he's saying you should write Bhagavatam. So that complete.
Narada, Narada is giving this suggestion to Vyasa.
Yes, that's right. So essentially, the sum and substance was that look, Vyasa, at the end of the day, whatever you have written is not satisfactory. It has no bearing on the betterment of people. They're still affected. In fact, he warned that what you also did something wrong, which is that in Mahabharata you essentially have glorified uh, the various kind of kama, artha, those kind of things, and people think that itself is dharma, and if that is the case, they will be misled. But that's not what is supposed to happen. You should take up a remedial effort and write Bhagavatam so that the true essence of Bhagavan actually it reaches the hearts of the people. So that is what? That is the entire essence that he is basically encouraging him to write Bhagavatam, and thus this entire Bhagavatam has been written. Okay, let's move on to the next chapter, which will be an easy breeze through for quite a good number of shlokas. सूत उवाच एवं निशम्य भगवान् देवर्षेर्जन्म कर्म च भूयः पप्रच्छ तं ब्रह्मन् व्यासः सत्यवती सुतः एवं निशम्य भगवान् सो देवर्षेः जन्म कर्म च. Okay, I'll just basically, there's not much here, so I'll just go through quickly. I mean, it's not adhyatmika spiritual knowledge here. It's just he wants to know, and Vyasa now wants to know from Narada Maharshi more about his birth and also his deeds. So he once again Bhuyaha, once again Papracha, asked with a lot of curiosity. So that's what it means. व्यास उवाच भिक्षुभिर्विप्रवसिते विज्ञानादेष्टृभिस्तव वर्तमानो वयस्याद्ये ततः किम् अकरोत् भवान्. भिक्षुभिः विप्रवसिते विज्ञान अद्रेष्टृभिः तव वर्तमानः वयस्य अद्ये वयसि आद्ये ततः किम अकरोत् भवान्. किम अकरोत्, अकरोत् is the verb. What kim, what did you do bhavan, what did you do? When was it? When those sages left the place, the very sages who also gave you the wonderful transcendental spiritual scientific knowledge, vijnana. So those who have having been given this knowledge by these people who left, what happened to you? What was your journey like? Again, interesting. So much packed in that one shloka. What was your journey like before the beginning of this life, which is Narada? So you mentioned about an earlier kalpa, and now you are in this particular kalpa as Narada. So see how well the entire shloka was structured. It actually included three things there. Three phases. One, the sages leaving. Second, what did you do after that in that kalpa? And third, you are in this kalpa right now. So whatever you are right now, I'm curious to know what you did before the beginning of this life of yours as Narada. स्वायंभुवकया वृत्त्या वर्तितं ते परं वयः कथं चेत् अमुदश्राक्षीः कथं चेत् अमुदश्राक्षीः काले प्राप्ते कलेवरम्. कथं च my mistake. कथं च इदम् उदस्राक्षीः काले प्राप्ते कलेवरम्. Swayambhuva kaya vritya vartitam te param vayaha. So essentially again, Swayambhu is the one who is born by self. Swayambhuva, who was it who was born? Who is Swayambhu? Brahma. But Narada was born of him, so therefore he is being called Swayambhu. Swayambhuva. So the one who is the son of Brahma, Kaya Vritya, by what occupation, Vartitam te Param Vayaha, what occupation did you take up in that particular time, those times, the duration? Katam cha idam udasrakshihi kale prapte kalevaram. Katham, how idam kalevaram, this particular body, well, this particular body of that boy, kale prapte, by the time death came, how was it relieved? How did you basically let go, quit that particular body? So we'll see a few more. प्राक्कल प्राक्कल्पविषयामेतां स्मृतिं ते मुनिसत्तम न ह्येष व्यवधात् काल एष सर्वनिराकृतिः. And he also wanted to know prakkalpa vishayam etam. You know, whatever you're talking about so far was the previous kalpa, the information from previous kalpa. Smritim tava, but you seem to have a memory of it now. Nahi esha vyavadhat kalaha, but this time, you know, the nature of time, esha kalaha sarva nirakritihi. This particular time actually annihilates everything. It actually destroys everything, or it doesn't allow everything to remain. Sarva nirakritihi. But similarly, you seem to be continuing that memory from old kalpa to new kalpa. How is it possible? Because the old kalpa was supposed to end period, new kalpa, new time period. How is it possible there is a continuity in your memory? That was his question. Narada Uvacha. So Narada now starts narrating his story. Bhikshubhir vipravasite vijnanadeštubhirmama vartamano vayasyadhye tata etad akarasham. Essentially, he's basically saying, oh yes, by the time those sages left, and the ones who have actually given me that vijnana, the spiritual knowledge, the science of spirituality, what I did with that particular life at that time, I'm going to discuss. एकात्मजा मे जननी योषिन्मूढ़ा च किंकरी मय्यात्मजे अनन्यगतौ चक्रे स्नेहानुबंधनम्. एकात्मजा मे जननी योषित मूढ़ा च किंकरी मयि आत्मजे अनन्यगतौ चक्रे स्नेहानुबंधनम्. So my mother, Ekatmaja, only she was on her own. There's no father basically. Ekatmaja mama janani, my mother. Yoshit, simple moodha. The word moodha being referred to here is not very intelligent. Simple lady, simple person. Kinkari, one who is actually a servant. What she could do was Mayi, in me. Again, see how nicely words are packed. Mayi, okay, in me. Atmaje, Atmajaha, Jaha, Atmaja would be born out of her. So, once the one who is born out of her, naturally she has an affection, so, and a responsibility she can't let go of. Ananya Gatau, I am also that particular person who has no other gati, or in the sense I cannot go seek refuge of anybody else but her. So therefore, in a way, she has a sole responsibility. And what did she do? Chakre snehanubandhanam. So therefore, she entirely engaged herself in my own welfare through her affection. That is important in the sense he had no, essentially the way we can understand is he had nowhere else to go and there were no other kids to play with, I guess. That is also inferred. And he only kind of just stayed with those sages and he was therefore not like a typical child. Saswatantra na kalpasit yogakshemam mamechati ईशस्य हि वशे लोको योषादारुमयी यथा. सा अस्वतंत्रा न कल्पा आसीत् योगक्षेमं मम इच्छति ईशस्य हि वशे लोकः योषा दारुमयी यथा. So that lady saw aswatantra, not independent, na kalpa, also not very capable. Asit, she was not capable, not independent. Yogakshemam, my welfare, mama, my welfare, ichchati, the one who was desirous of, would obviously take care of me. In a way, she had no other choice. In a way, she was restricted in her choice because of the life circumstances. Just like how a wooden doll, Darumayi Yosha Yatha, just like how a wooden doll is controlled by the one who plays with it. Similarly, Lokaha, a person, Lokaha, Ishasya Vashe Asti. In the hands of the Lord, a particular person is also like a doll playing around, not Swatantra. So we may think we are Swatantra. Yes, there is some amount of free will for us to generate, but we still have to follow the set path that also has been dictated in a way when you came into this life. Aham cha tadbrahma kule ushivan tadupekshaya दिग्देशकाला व्युत्पन्नो बालकः पंचहायनः अहं च तत् ब्रह्मकुले ऊशिवान् तद उपेक्षया दिक्देशकाल अव्युत्पन्नः बालकः पंचहायनः. Here he reveals his limitations as a child. Aham cha, me, also me, tat brahmakule, in that sage's place. Shivan lived there basically. Tat upekshaya, with negligence in a way. Upeksha is usually referred to as negligence. So in a way, it is a neglected childhood in the sense, in the modern world, is he's been deprived of playtime with other kids. So tat upeksha, being dependent on, is what it's written here. So because of that kind of a limitation that he had no other place to be at but here. And dikdesha kala avyatpannaha, he had no avyatpannaha, nothing has grown. Utpattihi na bhavat. So there was no growth in the knowledge of dik, directions, desha of the land, or kala of the time. That kind of a growth I had as a balakaha of panchahayanaha, of 5 years of age. It turned out to be a blessing for him, as we know. Because earlier, last chapter itself, he has mentioned that I was unlike any other kid. I was not asking silly questions. I was not kind of playfully going here and there and doing all sorts of funny things. I was just focused on my work, and my complete attention was on the sages, the Brahmanas, and they were quite impressed with me, and they have given me the Upadesha. So it worked for him essentially. So you can see that by design, that boy was supposed to go through this. We can once again see that he also, just like his mother's journey was fixed. Mother had that role basically to bring Narada into this life, that boy into that life. That boy was given those restrictions and circumstances, which was almost predictable, because that condition made him achieve that kind of attain that state where the sages, the rishis, were able to give him the upadesha, and that led him to go into the forest, and that led him to have the transcendental vision and the blessing of Narayana, that he became Narada later. So all is perfectly designed. So that is what has happened here. ekada nirgatam gehat duhantim nishigam pathi सर्पो सर्पो दशत्पदा स्पृष्टः कृपणां कालचोदितः. Now a sorrowful end to the mother has come. Ekada, once, nirgatam, that one who left, gehat, from the house, gam duhantim nishi pati, that one who was milking the cow at night time in a path, in the path. Sarpaha adashat, a snake bit her. Pada sprishtaha, basically touched the snake or whatever happened. Kripanam kala choditaha. Kala choditaha sprishtaha kripana. So kripana is in reference to unfortunate person. Of that unfortunate lady, as was choditaha, as ordained by time or robbed of time, whatever you can say. Kala choditaha, influenced by supreme time, it says. So she died, unfortunately. But how did he take it? This is an important point. तदा तदहमीशस्य भक्तानां शमभीप्सतः अनुग्रहं मन्यमानः प्रातिष्ठं दिशमुत्तराम्. If we take the verb here, it is pratishtham. Pratishtham is the past tense of the first person. Aham pratishtham. I set off. Where disham uttaram disham. I set off in the north direction. Who am I? Manyamanaha, the one who thought so. The one who was thinking so. One who was thinking so. What was I thinking? I was thinking that it was anugraham, it was benevolence of the Lord. What was that kind of a benevolence? That which shamabhipsataha, shamabhipsataha ishasya. Whose anugraham, whose benevolence? It was the benevolence of that Lord who actually would take away the shama would be more like more like constrain on your senses and mind and so on. So ipsataha, so the one who is desirous of it, he takes care. Who are they? Bhaktanam. So essentially, he is that Isha, the Lord, who actually takes care of his bhaktas. And I felt it was as if like his benevolence on me, he's just basically freed me because now I've developed that knowledge. I am supposed to further my experience. And somehow it so happened that my mother just accidentally passed away. How am I to take it? Should I take it that it was unfortunate, or should I take it that it was a divine intervention? I took it as a divine intervention, and therefore I moved on. At the end of the day, we can debate it. Was he so emotionless? Yes, the answer is yes. But in what way was he emotionless? Emotionless as an ungrateful, or emotionless as one who is a sthita prajna? That is more important. Emotionless as a sthita prajna, because he's already developed that kind of transcendental knowledge that his actions are done in a way, process is important, not the result. And he conducts himself irrespective of gain or loss, sorrow or joy, right or wrong. There is no kind of duality there. He just does it. So when she was lost, he just had to accept and move on. It's a difficult time, understandably, but importantly, he moved on. He took it as benevolence and a divine intervention. स्फीतान् जनपदांस्तत्र पुरग्रामव्रजाकरान् खेटकर्वाटवाटीश्च वनान्युपवनानि च. So some vocabulary there to describe the geography. Spitan Janapadan. Apparently, Spitan is something in terms of flourishing. Janapadas are republics basically. Those days, there used to be a lot of republics essentially. We already had the concept of republics then, and people electing their assemblies and so on and so forth. So they were all flourishing Janapadas there. Tatra Pura Grama Vrajakaran. They were towns or cities, they were villages, and Vrajakaran. Vraja farms, Akaran, mineral fields, it seems, or mines. Okay. Keta Karvata Vatischa. So Keta, maybe the word Keta is from where Hindi word Ket would have come. I always thought Kshetra, maybe the reason Kshetra in Sanskritam must have become Ket is how I thought. But here, interestingly, there is a word Keta as well, and it must have become Ket in Hindi. Karvataha, valleys, Vati, and Vana, Upavana, and so on and so forth. He's basically seen all these things on his journey. Chitra Dhatu Vichitradhreen. Ibhabagna Bujadruman Jalashayan Shivajalan Nalini Surasevitaha Chitrasvanaih Patrarathaihi Vibhramadbhramarashriyaha. So again, lots of description. Chitra Dhatu is minerals. You actually see this word in Ramayana as well in Sundarakanda. So Chitra Dhatu, varieties of minerals. Adri, so there were lots of hills with varieties of minerals. Ibha Bhagna Bhuja Druman. So the elephants, they were Druma, trees with broken branches due to the shoulders of elephants. Then Jalashayan Shivajalan. So there were water bodies which had very kind of Shiva is auspicious, Jalan, so auspicious waters, or in the sense pure waters. Nalini Surasevitaha, almost, and again all these places were essentially almost like abodes of, or places frequented by devatas. Chitrasvanaihi Patrarathaihi Vibhra Madabhra Chitrashvanai Patrarathaihi Vibhramat Abhramarashriyaha. So Brahmara, basically all these bees and all going around. Okay, so beautiful places basically. Nalavenushcharas tanba kushaki chaka guhvaram eka evati yatoham adraksham vipinam mahat ghoram pratibhayakaram vyaloloka shivajiram. Now he has entered into forests where there were lots of kind of bamboos and such kind, then grass, then wild grass, caves, then atiyataha. We'll see what atiyataha, difficult to go through. So then they were atiyataha evam atiyataha adraksham aham. Anyway, all these were vipinam. So difficult to go through forests have been gone by me basically. And ghoram pratibhayakaram, and so on. So there were lots of animals as well, jackals and those kind of things. And so that's the kind of forest he's entered now. परिश्रान्तेन्द्रियात्मा आत्माहं त्रुट्परितो बुभुक्षितः स्नात्वा पीत्वा हृदे नद्या उपस्पृष्टो गतश्रमः परिश्रान्त इंद्रियात्मा अहम त्रुट्परीतः बुभुक्षितः स्नात्वा पीत्वा हृदे नद्या उपस्पृष्टः गतश्रमः. Okay, we'll slow down now because time has come to pay attention. Parishranta, tired. Indriyatma aham, basically tired body, tired mind, tired senses. So his entire self was tired. Aham paritah bubukshitaha, thirsty and hungry. Snatva, having taken a bath. Pitva, having drunk water. Hriday, to the heart's satisfaction. Nadya, sorry, it's not Hriday, Harade. So it's the lake. Harade, Nadya, Hriday. Nadyaha Hrade, in the lake of the river. Upasprushtaha Gatashramah. In fact, I have put this in our WhatsApp groups as well. I think it's important. We need to keep this in mind, how much time we can actually spend with nature. Those in UK and Europe are particularly kind of fortunate to get away into nature whenever you wish to. And the cool weather actually helps you as well in that way. So you are fortunate. Use that fortune to good effect because it has a healing ability. But at the same time, we also know that there is seasonal affective disorders there. Harsh winters and dark times also can cause a lot of issues. But whatever said and done, we need to live close to nature as much as possible because it itself has a healing effect. That is what is being described here. That one who was so tired, thirsty, hungry, he did not eat anything yet. All he did was he just took a bath in that peaceful, sacred waters. We can imagine those days how anywhere water would be so pure, uncontaminated. We can just imagine. We can just imagine being there actually. We can imagine the kind of forest that he has walked past. There are deers, there are birds, there are butterflies, there are tumblebees. And he's gone through all that. And now he's basically in this place where he is not only tired, but in effect has been so beautifully healed just by being in contact with the water. तस्मिन् निर्मनुजे रण्ये पिप्पलोपस्थ आश्रितः आत्मा आत्मा आत्मनात्मानमात्मस्थं यथाश्रुतमचिन्तयम्. Now we are getting into business. तस्मिन् निर्मनुजे अरण्ये पिप्पलोपस्थे आश्रितः पिप्पलोपस्थ आश्रितः आत्मना आत्मानम् आत्मस्थं यथा श्रुतम् अचिन्तयम्. So, tasmin, in that Nirmanuje Aranye, that in that forest which had no people. Pippala upastaha, I sat down under the banyan tree. Ashritaha, the one I am the one who took refuge under shelter of the took shelter of under the banyan tree. I sat down. What did I do? Yatha Shrutam, just as I heard from my sages, my gurus, the Brahmanas. Yatha Achintayam. Now, not only did he hear, he also applied his mind. Achintayam. So that is work in progress. He is executing what he has learned. He is putting jnanam to vijnanam. What did he do now? Now he is going to put that into action. Whatever he has heard, he contemplated, achintayam, contemplated, and now he is putting it into action. How? Atmana, through his intellect. Atmanam, perhaps Atmanam is going to be his mind, body, and senses all put together. Atmastham, what is he going to do? He is now actually contemplating or meditating upon himself. Atmastham would mean actually that the Brahman is now seated in his heart. So I utilized myself to bring my body, mind, and senses into a state where it became the recipient of the Brahman in me, who was seated in me, through the knowledge that I have gathered and through my contemplation of that knowledge. ध्यायतश्चरणाम्भोजं भावनिर्जितचेतसा औत्कण्ठ्याश्रुकलाक्षस्य हृद्यासीन्मे शनैर्हरिः ध्यायतः चरणाम्भोजं भावनिर्जितचेतसा औत्कण्ठ्या आश्रुकलाक्षस्य हृदि आसीत् मम शनैः हरिः. Asit was present. Who was present? Harihi, Bhagavan. Harihi. How? Shanaihi, gradually. In what? Hridi, in the heart. Whose heart? Mama, my heart. So in my heart, Hari came and sat. And who am I again? Dhyayataha. That me who was meditating. Upon whom? Charanam bhojam. The lotus feet, upon the lotus feet. With what? Bhava nirjita chetasa. With that mind which was completely in that state where all the mental faculties were completely focused on him alone. Outkantya, let's see what outkantya is. Eagerness, with eagerness. Ashrukalakshasya. So I am that one. So it's the mama ashrukalakshasya dhyayataha. So that one, that me who was meditating, and that me whose eyes were rolling down. In that me, in that heart of me, Ishvara or Harihi came and sat. Naturally, he was completely overwhelmed with joy. Premati nirbhinna pulakangoti nirvritaha ananda samplave lino napashyam ubhayam mune. This is by far one of the most important shlokas you would want to keep in mind or make a note of anywhere, whether it's a cupboard or wherever you're going to do it, do so. And I've shared this in the groups as well. Prema, premati bhara, nirbhinna, pulakangaha, ati nirvritaha, ananda samplave, linaha, na apashyam, ubhayam, mune. Hey mune, hey Vyasa. Na apashyam. Apashyam is the verb, Kriyapadam. Did not see. I did not see. Sorry, apashyam means I saw. Na apashyam means I did not see. What did I not see? Ubhayam. When you say ubhayam, it is two. I did not see both, is what it means. I did not see both. What are those two that I have not seen? That is not given in the shloka. That is understood. How is it understood? We'll come back to that. Prema ati bhara. Prema, love. I don't really come across the word prema anywhere else so often. Actually, I have not come across it in Bhagavad Gita. That word prema is not used. However, prema is a word which is so commonly used in modern Indian languages. Somehow, even in Sanskrit studies, through the years that I have been, prema is not a word I have actually seen so often there either. I often wondered, where did that word come from? Why is it not used? A lot of the time anuraga is used. So how people actually describe prem in Hindi or prema in Telugu and also Kannada, that word is used everywhere basically in the context of romance. So I'm not even sure why that is not used. There anuraga is used often in Sanskrit. What does it basically mean? It means that Sanskrit uses words very carefully. Not everything is used everywhere. Yes, there are some words which are used in different contexts. But anuraga is what romance would be. Anuraga. Raga is that kind of affection. Anuraga, the mutual affection. Why is prema used here? And why isn't bhakti used here? That's the other point I often notice. Is prema the same as bhakti? Bhakti is often the one which is used to denote transcendental affection of that devotee towards the divine almighty. But prema is not used. So I will take it in this way. Now that the word prema has been inserted here, it is coming from the human level. That pure kind of affection, pure unconditional love is prema, is how I will take it. So that unconditional love itself is prema. I don't think it was given like that here. But given the context I have given so far, I would think prema being used specifically here would mean unconditional love altogether. Ati bhara, filled, completely filled with that love. Nirbhinna, there is no difference. Nirbhinna, he is not seeing any difference anywhere whatsoever. For him, it is the sameness. Perhaps he is lost as well. He is not even seeing himself anymore. Nirbhinna. Pulakangaha, his entire body is now completely kind of, it's like goosebumps, right? Ati nirvrataha, we'll see what ati nirvrata, overwhelmed. So he is that same person who is pulakangaha ati nirvrataha. Aham, I am that whose entire body is extremely overwhelmed with this feeling of love and that oneness. Ananda samplave linaha. I am also that same person who is completely absorbed in that something like a boat, a ship of bliss. Ananda samplavaha, samplave, ocean basically. Okay. In that ocean of bliss, I am that one who is completely absorbed. Now I don't see both. Who am I not seeing? I am not seeing myself. I am not seeing the Brahman either. I am not seeing anything. I've gone beyond even that Brahman and me as different separate units. I'm only seeing oneness. This is the state which we should all aim to reach through our practice of Sanatana Dharma. Whether it is bhakti that is going to lead us, whether it is jnana that is going to lead us, or karma which is going to lead us, or dhyana which is going to lead us. Here obviously Bhagavatam's attempt in a very effective way is to demonstrate that bhakti can achieve, make you achieve that result. And we have enough reasons to believe that to be the case. All it requires is to absorb ourselves into a beautiful satsanga of bhajan, of katha shravana, Bhagavata katha shravana. We absorb ourselves. I have noticed it myself while reading the Bhagavatam, the Potana Bhagavatam, which is a Telugu version. I am also obviously reading the Vyasa Bhagavatam, which is a Sanskrit version. Now I've noticed, because these are like huge books, huge volumes, like 10 volumes, and if I was to read continuously every day, it will at least take 3 to 4 years, maybe. But every day I open to read it, I absorb myself into that. So I have enough reasons to believe that Bhagavatam, Kathashravanam, Nama Sankirtanam, Bhajans, we should do this extremely effectively. And when I've been to Govardhan and Vrindavan, or when you actually, for that matter, participate in Hare Krishna, Krishna consciousness, bhakti satsangs, where they sing the bhajans for hours together, or at least an hour or two, and you gradually grow into it and you completely absorb yourself. You're lost in it. And that's what we should aim for. And this, please keep this shloka in your minds always. Prematirbhirnirbhinna pulakango पुलकाङ्गोऽति निर्वृतः आनन्दसंप्लवे लीनो नापश्यम् उभयं मुनेः. Okay, so if you would want to repeat it after me, you are welcome to do so. Shall we do that? Prematibhir. No, sorry.
Prematibhir.
No, just a minute. Sorry, my mistake. Prematibhara nirbhinna.
Prematibhara nirbhinna.
Prematibhara nirbhinna.
Prematibhara nirbhinna.
Pulakangoti nirvritaha.
Pulakangoti nivrutaha.
Ananda samplave lino.
Ananda samplave lino.
Napashyam ubhayam mune.
Napashyam ubhayam mune.
Prematibhara nirbhinna. Pulakangoti nirvritaha.
Prematibhara nirbhinna. Pulakangoti nivrutaha.
Prematibhara nirbhinna. Pulakangoti nirvritaha.
Anybody else?
Prematibhar.
Yeah.
Please say along with me.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. We can all say it. Annapurna, please go ahead. I think
Thank you.
Devikachi would join you.
Yes. Thank
Prematibhara nirbhinna.
Prematibhara
Prematibhar
nirbhinna.
Pulakangoti nirvritaha.
Pulakangoti nivrutaha.
nirvritaha.
Ananda samplave lino.
Ananda samplave lino.
Lino.
Ananda samplave lino.
Ananda samplave lino.
Napashyam ubhayam mune.
Napashyam ubhayam mune.
Oh, it's so nice to actually hear you all sing. So that is what we should do. Maybe every session we should recite one or two shlokas like this. Okay. Now, I'll put it as an audio in the groups. Maybe you can practice it. So we'll just do one more time. Prematibhara nirbhinna.
Prematibhar nirbhinna.
Pulakangoti nirvritaha.
Pulakangoti nirvritaha.
Ananda samplave lino.
Ananda samplave lino.
Napashyam ubhayam mune.
Napashyam ubhayam mune.
Rupam bhagavato yattat.
Rupam bhagavatam
Manah kantam shuchapaham.
kantam suchapaham.
So we don't say manaha kantam, we say manah kantam. So manah kantam shuchapaham.
Kantam suchapaham.
Apashyan sahasotaste.
Apashyan
Vaikalvyadhurmana iva. So it's Vaiklavya. So it's Vaiklavya. So Vaiklavyadhurmana iva. So if you look at each word, it is Rupam Bhagavato Yat Tat Manaha Kantam Suchapaham. But when you are reciting, the rule is Manah Kantam. Okay. Apashyan Sahasa Uthaste Vaiklavyat Durmana iva. So because it is a sandhi, it's all clubbed together. So once you start learning, you would know how to break and where to break. Okay, again. Rupam Bhagavato Yattat
Rupam Bhagavato Yat
Manahkantam Suchapaham
Manakantam Suchapaham
Apashyan Sahasotasthe
Apashyan Sahasrasya
Vaiklavya Durmana Iva.
Vaiklavya Durmana Iva.
So we'll do the first line completely. Rupam Bhagavato Yattat Manahkantam Suchapaham.
Rupam Bhagavato Yatatana Manahakantam Suchapaham.
Rupam Bhagavato Yattat Manahkantam Suchapaham.
Rupam Bhagavato Yatatana Manahakantam Suchapaham.
Apashyan Sahasotasthe Vaiklavya Durmana Iva.
Apashyan Sahasrasya Vaiklavya Durmana Iva.
Apashyan Sahatotasthe Vaiklavya Durmana Iva.
Apashyan Sahasrasya Vaiklavya Durmana Iva.
Now we will do the entire shloka in one go. Rupam Bhagavato Yattat Manahkantam Suchapaham Apashyan Sahatotasthe Vaiklavya Durmana Iva.
Rupam Bhagavato Yattan Manahakanta Suchapaham Apashyan Sahasrasya Vaiklavya Durmana Iva.
Okay, very good.